got more people coming in itself. So again, just to recap, I'm going to launch this poll just to get the idea of who's the first time and who's not. Okay, so help me reply so that I will know what kind of number of people, who are people here, and we structure the webinar accordingly. Okay, 7 people has replied. 8. Okay, so mostly not your first time. I think everybody's not the first time is good. Do remember, you can just ask your friends who are trading to come in as well. Next time it's very beneficial for everyone. Okay. Okay, just while people are still doing it, just to let people recap again, you know, although you guys are new, some people have been here a long time. Again, Monday, Aussie, New Zealand dollar. Tuesday, we're going to talk about euro, which is yesterday. Today, we'll talk about pound. Thursday, we talk about yen and gold. And Friday, talk about Canadian dollar and the WTI, the oil itself. Okay, so that's a reminder. Okay, so today, again, today is Wednesday, so Jin will be talking about Jin will be talking about pound itself. So this is, we're going to, again, just to recap, he's going to talk in terms of the long-term investors and the short-term investors. So he's talking about the daily charts and the 4-hour chart and the 1-hour chart itself. So he will go through all the what's moved, the prices, possible trade ideas, highlight to you these potential targets and risks itself. So again, just a disclaimer. Remember that all this information during this session is not intended as a trade recommendation, but solely the opinion of Jin. And do remember to do your own analysis and then before you enter any trade itself. So again, everybody, I think most of people know me. My name is Daniel. I'm a coach in LCMS Traders itself. So Jin is an LCMS trader, trading coach, $1 million trader. He's been trading now more than $7 million already in terms of AUM itself. So he's been speaking a lot of stage globally. So again, I'm going to launch another poll. Okay. So the poll going to show me, let me, how do you get to know here so that we can improve or extend the reach as well. Okay, so previously, a lot of you comes from the Traders Club, Telegram itself. I would again encourage you to share with your friends to come in to the call. It'll be very beneficial. Oh, we have Facebook Live as well. One. Okay, and okay, that's interesting. Okay, great. Okay, we have 11 people replying, so 12. Okay, good. Okay, so most people are from Telegram and Traders Club itself. That'll be nice. So Jin, I pass it to you.
All right. So thanks for that, Daniel. Good to see that we have, well, actually about half of you guys are coming from Telegram. That's actually more than what we normally get. So just it's 11:10 now. We are on Facebook Live. You know, if you guys who are on right now, if you can help me out, jump onto Facebook, jump onto my profile, just search for me, Jin Dao Thai, and then you can see my Facebook Live. Click a like, click a share as well, so that you can help me get this a bit more shared out there. Today we have Daniel there, we have Kenneth, we have Jonathan, we have Jinwei here, you know, the guys with the fancy background there. If you have any questions, as I go through the charts and I go through my analysis, you know, put it in the chat. These guys will be there to help you out. What I'll be looking at today will be the pound. We saw a little bit of movement yesterday, so I really want to get into why it's moving and then how to trade that. I've just asked the question before we started, you know, how were you guys trading? It seems like a lot of you are sitting at home, not really trading that much. I'm looking at you, Derek, right? So some people have first lost in 3 months. Hey, if you're losing the first time in 3 months, that's okay, right? So you're still 2 for 3. So, you know, I want to give me your questions. Why you're not trading that much, or what what's the difficulties that you're facing in terms of having no trades or no time, cannot be no time, or what are the market directions that you are, I just said market directions and Chuan said no clear direction, right? Or the volatility in the market that's holding you back from having a clear decision on when to enter a trade. So we'll get through that in more detail as well as we go through the different currency calls. Before I forget, what I wanted to do is also to remind you that for people in Traders Club, for all Trader Club members, this evening at 9 p.m. there is a coaching call as well. So Daniel and Jonathan will be holding that coaching call, guiding you through. I think today will be back testing and applying your strategies. So they'll get through those topics tonight. So make sure to jump onto that call tonight at 9 as well. All right, so 5 minutes. Okay, I'll get through your questions later as we look through the charts. Let's get started. First one we're gonna look at, we're not looking at the euro today, we're looking at the pound, right? So give me a thumbs up if you can see my pound chart. Good. Kenneth is quick, he knows I'm gonna ask that question already. All right. Ty says great learning from Jin, profitable. Hey, you normally say that at the end of the session, but great to see that at the start of the session. You know, I'm very happy to be doing this currency call. We actually intended to do this currency call only for the circuit breaker period where we're all stuck at home, but I think we're slowly coming to that decision, to do this every day, even beyond the stay home period. It only depends on whether you guys are going to be watching us and joining the sessions or not. Because if I do this and there's only Daniel, Jonathan, Kenneth, and Jinwei in the call, then I'm not going to be doing this anymore. So you want to keep this going, you keep watching, you keep commenting, you keep participating, we'll keep this going. All right. So pound on the daily chart. Let me move that away. So pound on the daily chart, I want to show you that the last time we spoke about it, if I'm not wrong, the last time we spoke about it, we said that it's approaching the support level. You know, it could bounce up before heading lower. What we have actually seen is it has bounced up. Zoom in one more. It has bounced up to at about our level that we stated, still the same as yesterday at about 1.24, 1.25 level. It hit that level and it's still sitting there. I might adjust my view right now towards, if I move this line, I think that the pound might continue a little bit higher before coming back down. So I think it might actually even on the medium to longer term time frame look towards testing that 1.28 level. Right, so a little bit more optimism. I see a little bit more optimism for the pound US dollar, in particular because of their views towards what could happen in the virus situation. So they're looking at, you know, releasing people out into the city again. So I think they were looking at early May or mid-May to start releasing people, not letting them stay home as much. There's a little bit more optimism in terms of the recovery periods, and the numbers have been dropping. So we see that there could be a bit of an economic pickup in the UK economy. So, you know, possibly a bit of an upward move. But with that said, I still do think that there might be some economic shocks because we're going to see economic data from last month when they were locked in. So when you start looking at retail sales number, when you start looking at employment numbers, when you start looking at all the economic numbers, remember that it was last month's numbers. So we could see, you know, people who are not thinking about it properly, they'd be like, oh, bad economic number, a shock downwards, but then overall picking back up again. So yesterday we saw in general across the board a lot of movements against the US dollar because of a risk on sentiment, where people started being a bit more positive towards the market. because of numbers starting to drop a little bit, virus numbers starting to drop a little bit, which is why looking at the pound, I would say that it is at the 1.2465 level. I do think we might see a little bit of an upward move, maybe before overall still heading downwards again. Okay. Daniel is still doing the summary, so that's fantastic. I've got everyone telling me, please keep going on. Hey, it's all dependent on you. Robbie's asked a quick question. Can you discuss more about risk on and risk off sentiment? What in particular, Robbie? So risk on means, it's a bit counterintuitive. Risk on means people moving away from safe havens. So moving away from US dollar, moving away from the Japanese yen, possibly moving a little bit away from gold. Risk on is when they move away from the safe havens. Risk off is when they move towards the safe havens. So why risk on or risk off is really how they see the market in terms of whether they're going to be more viral numbers, what are the shocks to the system. So when there are less shocks, they go into, hey, I can continue in terms of allocating assets into slightly riskier instruments, or currency pairs. That's why we see when it goes risk on, they move away from the US dollar. I hope that answers your question, Robbie. Chuan asked a quick question. MACD is crossing zero. Is that relevant? At this point, not super relevant, Chuan, because that's my sped up MACD there. So it's I wouldn't say it's crossing. I would say it's touching. It's touching, trying to cross. So there's at that decision point right now that it could actually go to that point, touch, and then turn back down again. If it does turn back down, we could see it coming back down and testing that support level again. If it does go up and open upwards, it could go back up as well. I've just been sharing with you. So it is at that decision point. I wouldn't advise any of you to preempt it, to jump in beforehand. The MACD I use as an indicator. Remember, it's an indicator. It's not really there to tell you whether to buy or sell. Use it as an indicator, not as a signal, right? MACD is also a quick translation of the price action that's happening on the charts there as well. A lot of people don't understand price action, so use it as a bit of a translation. Use the indicators as a translation towards price action. So right now we see that recent upward move has explained why MACD is trying to cross upwards. When now it's starting to touch a little bit, it is at that decision point. So we could see it move up a little bit, ideally because of all the other confluent indicators or price action that's telling us that as well. Looking at the smaller time frame in the H4, well, not really smaller, but slightly. On the H4, to be a bit more precise, I might actually say that it's probably not going to shoot up straight away. If any of you are trying to jump in with a buy straight away, do your own analysis. We had that disclaimer just then as well. My view is that we could see some upward move before a bigger upward move that way, right? So not going to be today a big shoot up. We might see some upward move before an overall move upwards. Why I say that, it really comes back down to the triggers. All right, actually, to be a bit more specific, I think it might actually look like that. Okay, it really comes down to the triggers. So before I jump into the triggers, into the news and economic news and the Forex Factory, are there any other questions? I like how you guys are asking questions a lot today. Fantastic. Chuan's continue on to say, if upward move, do we buy at 1.28 level or wait till candle close above 1.28 to buy at the next candle? Okay, Again, not a trade recommendation, but if it does break above 1.28, it would have to look something like that. That candle would have to look something like that, maybe above. I would even come to the point of saying if it's above 1.29, then I will start buying on the H4, right? On the H4 above 1.29, then I'll start buying. Why I would be a bit more, give it a bit more space to move is because even if it goes to 1.29 and I buy, I could be risking, I wouldn't risk that much. I'll be risking maybe 150 to try and make even 450. That'd be great. Even if I do risk a bit more, 250 to make 400, right? Those of you who are in the chat, right? Risk 250 to make 500. Would that be something you'd be happy to take on? Risk 250 to make 400. Would that be a risk reward that you'd be looking at doing? Yes. Great. Okay. Andy, have you talked about bond market and relationships to FX before? Andy, I haven't. I haven't really paid that much attention towards the bond market and the relationships to FX, mainly because the bond market, how I view the bond market is slightly longer term. The implications towards the bond market is slightly longer term. Even if we see sudden spikes towards the bond market, it translates into a slightly longer term being priced in and impact. So to relate that to FX, a lot of traders are more short, medium, slightly longer term traders. So it feels like it's not an apple to apple relationship. It's a bit more apple to orange. So the bond market will give us a pretty longer term view with the FX market. You know, most people apply it towards the medium term view. So I haven't really done that relationship because for most people, it might end up being a bit more confusing. All right. So I hope that answers your question. Great. Everyone says yes. So I'm going to run the next time. I'm going to run that poll. If it does break above 1.29, I'm going to ask you guys all who said yes, did you enter that trade? And I hope all of you who said yes did enter that trade and made some money. All right. Okay. So looking at Forex Factory now. All right. As usual, Kenneth, give me a thumbs up. Good. Okay. Yeah, Mervin. So Mervin had a comment that says, high risk reward ratio is a trade-off. I'm happy with 1 to 2. Yeah, so, you know, risk reward ratio is not everything. Risk reward ratio is not going to be everything. It's actually the probability as well. You know, how likely are you to hit that kind of reward compared to, because you could have a high risk reward, but if you're never going to hit that reward level because the probability of hitting that is low, and then your risk, although it's small, but it's going to be a high chance of hitting, then what's the point, right? So I go into that a lot more detail during my courses, getting that mindset and balance between risk and reward ratios as well. So thanks, Mervin, for that. Today we just had in the mornings, Kim Hong was sending out some messages about the CPI numbers. Not much of a shock for that coming out today. Slightly better than expected, but not much real surprise. 8:30 tonight we have the GDP as well. For US dollar, talked about that every day since already. It's probably going to be a little bit worse than expected. What's going to happen tonight? Well, tomorrow morning at 2 a.m. FOMC press conference and statement. Interest rates is probably for the US going to stay at 0.25. Pay attention to the statement, pay attention to the press conference. That's why I adjusted my line on the pound US dollar. When first I said it was going to spike up, I adjusted to a slight upward move before a spike up, because we could see that if I were to stick my neck out and make a call, I we could see the FOMC maybe disappointing markets a little bit. They might, well, we know they're not going to cut rates, but they might not be firing all their tools to try and stimulate the economy straight away. They might adopt a more sit back, have a look, see what happens mentality, or they might have a different tool. What I was just reading just then before was talking about corporate bonds, dipping into corporate bonds, some things they haven't done for a very long time as well. So they might come in with a slightly different tool, a less direct stimulus into the markets, which could disappoint the markets. If they do continue to disappoint the markets, then we could see slight weakening of the US dollar. Hence, why I think that the pound US dollar might move up a little bit. All right. So there were some questions asking about how I form my bias towards looking at all my different news. It's really collecting a lot of information from everywhere. I'm reading all the time. I'm up at 4 a.m. in the morning. I'm reading all the time, getting news when market closes, getting news when market opens to form that bias. All right. So Thursday we have FOMC, and then we have the Euro news coming up in the evening as well. So looking at that, let me jump back into the charts. Looking at that, that's why I think that that's probably going to sit across before shooting up. If I were to jump back into the Euro pound, the Euro pound, the last time we spoke, which was yesterday, I said that, it's been sitting across. If the pound does shoot up, we could see the Euro pound come down a little bit. I would urge caution not to sell the Euro pound too quickly, because as the pound shoots up, we could see the Euro shooting up a little bit as well. So it probably will come back down and then go back up into that level again. So I still see it bouncing at that level for a little bit more time. All right. The last time I spoke, somebody asked about pound, Aussie dollar. I don't know whether that person is still around today. If you are, give me a quick thumbs up and hello, then I'll go through that. If you're not, then, oh, was it Robbie? Robbie, you asked about that last time? Okay, so do you want me to go through it again? Okay, I'll do it. For Robbie, because he attends every session, I'll do it for Robbie. All right, so Robbie, did you get into that trade? My first question is, did you get into that trade? I kind of remember what we spoke about the last time. We said that, if I'm not wrong, we said that if it breaks below 1.93, we could look to sell with that kind of a 250 risk to a possible 500 reward. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think I said that. I might have been in a different universe thinking of a different thing or saying a different thing. But if I did say that, Robbie, did you jump into that trade? Robbie? Yes, you did. No, did not jump in. I said it, but you did not jump in. Robbie. Did anyone else jump into that trade? Anyone? I know Daniel jumped into that trade. No one jumped in. All right, so okay, this is where so this is where I would advise you in terms of how you use these sessions, right? Is although you might not jump into that trade now, but in future, even if you want to, maybe size down, do your analysis, right? Obviously do your analysis, then size down as a trial, right? Or jump onto a demo account and enter that trade as a trial, because the only way you're going to really learn and remember the lessons is when you jump into a trade. So when we put in lines and we say, hey, trigger points, at 1.93, if it goes below that, sell. Even if you put in a trade order, a market order to go below 1.93, sell. stop loss, take profits, boom, forget about it. At least it's a lesson that you start building confidence, right? So a lot of trading is about confidence or a lack of confidence. This is the way, one way where you practice your analysis or my analysis, and then apply, see the results, build that confidence. Okay, so I find that going to be very beneficial if you start applying things that we talk about here. Chuan asked the question, is it still possible to get in right now? All right, so at this point, let me have a look on the daily time frame. I might be a little bit careful because I think that it could bounce up because of what we spoke about, the pound US dollar. You know, we could see a little bit of an upward move. So I do think that it could be an upward move at this point. If it does go up a little bit, I would say let it test. Let it test 1.93 again before selling back down. I would not be selling at this point. Risk of 400 and say 500 pips to try and make 340. Not really worth it. Not a great risk reward ratio. Something I'll be a bit more careful. I would even come to the point of saying it's a bit late. Right? It's a little bit late to jump in right now. Looking at it on the H4, I would anticipate would rather look at it, test the resistance again before coming back down. You know, if it does test and come back slightly, then I would look to sell. I wouldn't be trying to sell right now. All right, answers your question, Chuan? All good? Set stop loss at 1.93. If you set stop loss at 1.93, I feel that if you were to enter a trade now and set your stop loss at 1.93, you could. It's still a 180 to 320. Could happen. Could happen. Could be a trade that you want to get into with the understanding that there's a slightly higher risk. Right? So no trade is ever going to be risk-free, but this is a trade that you probably could get into with a slightly higher risk. All right. Love the questions. Anything else? Anything else? Okay. So let me see. Jump into that. Okay. So we jumping back into this. Forex Factory. Anything else to share with you? No. Okay. Just a quick plug for my LCMS traders. I know most of you are already Trader Club members. There are a couple of you who came in from Facebook Live and also Telegram channel, right? So LCMS Traders Club is a private group, $49 a month or $199 a year. No brainer, jump in for a year. What we do here is, well, we share about currency call, trade signals. You know, when Daniel fires out the trade signals on the Telegram channel, you get the signals. In the Traders Club, you get the analysis as well. Why he's firing out the signals, the reasons, the step-by-step sequential reasons behind the signals. All right, signals again. He tells you when he gets out of a trade, whether it's level 1, 2, or 3, the reasons behind level 1, 2, or 3 to close out of a trade. I do the 11 a.m. currency call every day. We have Kenneth, we have Daniel, we have Jonathan, we have Jim, who will do a update at about 9 o'clock every day, giving an update on whether the call is still valid or not. So Kenneth did a call yesterday, a Facebook Live yesterday, very quick, right? Less than a minute, just to let you know whether it's still valid or not. Weekly live calls are there. Currency watch list, analysis, polls, currency calls are there. I want to jump into this, right? So we have 18. Well, we have 18. So yesterday I shared that on Thursday night, if I get more than 20 voting yes on this poll, where if I get more than 20 likes, I will do a live trading session on Thursday, trading the Euro news at 8:30 p.m. So we are 18 now, we're 2 away. If we don't get more than 20, I'm not doing a session. If we get more than 20, I'll do the session only for Trader Club members, right? But I would appreciate if you all go and vote that you rather Daniel run the live trading session as well. That would be fantastic. I get a break, Daniel gets to do all the work. So it's all there, right? You can ask questions. Andrew has been on, he's been asking questions as well. So, you know, join the Traders Club, LCMS Traders Club. It's 49, it's 199 a year. Ultimately, it's going to be beneficial to your trading because you can use it as a way to test, right? What I mean by test is to, you know, a lot of times you don't know whether you enter a trade and whether it's going to be a good trade or not. You know, you can jump in, you can put in your analysis. Right? We have coaches there who will be quite quick, who could be quite quick to reply to you to let you know whether it's a good idea or not. Use it as a bit of a sounding board towards your trading journey as well. Robbie has just told me it's already 21 votes. Well, we'll see. Okay, we'll see.
Okay.
Just then when I saw it was 18. So strange those who not attending, no one dare to vote. No, yeah, I don't know why, Serene. Right. So yeah, well, make sure that if you vote, make sure you attend. Don't vote and don't attend. I'm gonna make a note of who votes and doesn't attend. Then next time, no attendance for you. All right. So I don't want to keep dragging on. You know, those of you who are not on Traders Club, click join, get in. Those of you who are, you can put it in the group chat to tell everyone else how fantastic it has been. If it's been terrible, tell them it's been terrible as well, and then we'll make it better. In the meantime, I'm going to run a poll to ask you, what do you think? What do you think about the session? All right. And if you got any other questions, put it in the chat. We will go through any other questions you have as well. There was always one person who says that it could be longer, but I don't know how it could be longer or more analysis or coaching. Every session, there's always one person. I wonder who's that one person. Is that you, Daniel? Has to be Daniel. All right.
Okay. So if there's no more questions, so just a reminder that the recording of this video will be uploaded. So thank you very much for joining the session today. So tomorrow, if anybody knows, what are we going to talk about? Tomorrow we'll be talking about the yen and the gold. Okay. So looking forward to see you then. Okay.
Tommy, so before we go, Tommy, it's you. More analysis. Right. You are a Traders Club member, so make sure you jump onto, you need more analysis, make sure you jump onto the coaching call, make sure you jump onto the weekly calls as well. There's where we go through a lot more analysis. This session at 11 o'clock, I really intended to be quite short and sharp, give you the key points. For more detailed analysis, jump into the give me your questions in the Traders Club, and then we can jump into that as well, and also during the coaching calls. All right. So in the meantime, trade safe. There is going to be market volatility galore tomorrow and today and tomorrow. Trade safe, trade well. Actually, we also have. I want to just do a quick check on because it's coming to the last couple of days of our challenge. So let me give me 1 minute. All right. So we have Traders Challenge here. Traders Challenge current leader is at 4,000 and a 33% returns. We have Wong Wei Hong here. And these guys don't even attend the sessions, right? So they have $700 with a 21% return. Third place, 387 with a 19% return. So we're looking at a lot of you guys at about almost 20 to 30% returns for the month. Remember, trade safe, trade properly. This competition is here under LCMS traders. $2,000 cash prize for whoever wins. Last day for April is 30th, and then they start the May competition as well. This is a live trading competition. Make sure you join. If you want to join, reach out on LCMS Traders Club, and then we can tell you more about how to join via there as well. All right. So thank you all. Take care now. Trade safe. We'll see you tomorrow, 11 o'clock. Or I'll see you tonight, and then tomorrow at 11 o'clock as well. Bye-bye.
Right.